Hello there, guys and girls, and welcome again to another episode of the Road to Rome 2 here on GD Gaming. And Road to Rome 2, if you're new to the channel or you just discovered this video on YouTube and you don't know, well, it is a series where we get psyched up for Rome 2's Total War release coming to us in October of this year by playing the original Rome Total War. And the way this works is in each episode you guys comment on what faction you want me to play next, and today's faction, again by popular demand, is the Britons, or Britannia. So, this is an interesting faction just because they are kinda... I mean, some of their units are represented well historically, that is, and some aren't, but they're a very fun faction to play, and I think they have some of the best chariots in the game. So, let's go ahead and pause. And actually, let's keep playing whatever. When the battle starts, we'll pause. So I'm playing against Egypt today, which is going to be a tough one. And here are my units over here. I've got some slingers. And you can see I haven't really given many upgrades to these guys. 2 in attack. I've got 1, 2, 3 of those. Behind them, I've got something that you really need to use as Britain, and that is going to be the head hurlers. These guys do a lot of damage, and they do morale shock as well. I've also given them 2 upgrades in... Actually, I think I've given them 3 attack, 1 defense. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. And finally, I have 4 units of these woad warriors. They're not super fantastic units, but they're gonna do the job. And then I have 2 of these warbands, and these are very light spear units that can not help me kill Cav, but can kind of protect my lines a little bit. I've got 4 of these heavy chariots, which are the barbarian warlords, and there they are going around, and they have gold attack and bronze defense. And finally, I've got 2 of these British light chariots, and I think they have gold attack as well. So in the meantime, let's take a look at my Egyptian opponent's army. My Egyptian opponent has brought some desert cavalry here. A lot of upgrades on his desert cav. Then he has a couple of... No, he has 3 desert cav there. And then he has a chariot general, another chariot general, and then some just regular Egyptian chariots. And you can see he's given his cav a lot of upgrades. He then has 3 of these Pharaoh's bowmen and a regular bowman up here with 3 more. So 3 of each type of bowman he has brought. In the meantime, I was using my chariots to go forward and try to pepper my opponent with some archer fire. Now, fighting Egypt as Britannia isn't really something that... it doesn't allow Britain to use it to shine, you know, because these head hurlers are going to be having a very hard time getting in range to the bowman if my opponent kites well, which he's doing. He's continuously falling back. But the good thing in this situation is that, well, I know that my chariots are superior and that I have a lot of units to throw away. So I can really kind of let my micro slip as long as I can overwhelm my opponent on one front. And we'll see if I am able to do that or not. Now, historically, Britain is, I wouldn't say misrepresented, because a lot of their units are well represented, like the woad warriors and these chariots. But the manner that which the chariots fight in this game isn't really represented properly. So here I'm trying to draw my opponent's chariots away from the rest of his army. And I will be successful in that. He does get a good hill charge on me here. I do lose this 1 chariot unit on this side. But I'm also trying to go forward at the same time. And look at this. 1 charge by his desert cavalry downstream routes my woad warriors instantly. So I'm starting to lose units. He is rushing downhill. But once I stop the momentum of his chariots and his cavalry, I should be able to do well here. So here he comes. He's trying to do damage into my units. I'm sending my chariots on that side to take care of his archers. His expensive archers. Nope. His expensive archers are back here. Should have really been targeting them. And as you can see, my army is in a big rout now. But again, most of these will come back, so I'm not really too worried. I'm trying to take out his archers, and if I can do that, then his cavalry should be a piece of cake, because I still have a lot of my chariots left. But as I was saying, the chariots in Britain, in Britannia, weren't really used like this. They wouldn't really stay on their chariots. We know from what Julius Caesar said that the way they fought was they would come in with their chariots, they would cause them havoc, and then one of the guys on the chariot, like the warlord himself, would jump out, keep fighting, and then the chariots will kind of back away. They would kind of be like mobile, like troop transporters in a sense. They would jump out of the chariots and fight. And the reason they did that was because that if the Britannians were losing, the chariots could pull away and be used another day, so that the chariots wouldn't die or wouldn't get overrun by their masters, which I think is brilliant. So a lot is happening in this battle, and again, this is not really a great example of why Britain shines. But it's specifically against Egypt, a faction that relies heavily on skirmish. You can expect to lose a lot of units like this. Most of them will be coming back, and this is going to sort of draw my opponent's troops away from really the main fight. I lose my general there, but that's not too much of a big deal. You see, he's chasing with his desert cavalry, but my units keep running back, turning around and firing. And I keep targeting with any units that come back. I keep checking, but not much I can do here. All I have left really are these chariots, and they're doing a lot of damage. As long as I keep going back and in and out of my opponent's units, I should be fine. See, it's exactly what I'm doing here. I just go up and back and forth through these Pharaoh's bowmen, which are pretty decent in melee, actually. His cav has kind of been decimated now. He has some left, but they're way over there chasing unnecessary units. So I'm just cleaning up here on these Pharaoh's bowmen. Another thing that's interesting, I think, about Britain historically is that they were so bliming difficult to really conquer. It took Julius Caesar 2 tries, I think, before he got a surrender out of them, and then Augustus tried 3 times before he got anywhere, and then they still sort of didn't really abide by the terms. It just seemed that the Romans had a really hard time crossing the channel. But finally, I think it was somewhere around like 45 or 50 AD that, British Roman forces actually were in Britain and actually took control of it and had garrisons there. And they had control of the area till about 400 AD. But initially, Britain was... They would either come to terms very quickly and, sound friendly to you, that you'd be like, oh, I don't need to leave a garrison here. Or they would, fight you well, and you'd have too many logistical losses to maintain your army, kind of like what Caesar had with his second invasion. But I'm rambling on about history, and let's take a look at what happened in the battle. Back here, see, he had 3 cav units, now he has 1, just because I keep running back and shooting and stuff. With my routing units down in the field, and I'm still trying to focus on the remainder of his forces here. These Pharaoh's bowmen are doing such a good job fighting my chariots and my other infantry, but now that I have my Woad Raiders in here, they're not really going to be too much of a threat. Here come the Woad Raiders with their awesome tats, and they're going to start cutting off people's heads off. There they are. These 2 Pharaoh bowmen have started to rout, and this 3rd one as well is routing, so that looks good. All that he really has left now is this 1 unit of desert cavalry, and he admits defeat here. My opponent today was the Nurgle. Okay, so that was a close victory. I had way more men, and again, this doesn't really showcase how to play Britain too well. What you can take away from this is very similar to what you can take away from any sort of skirmish-based, chariot-based faction. You have to keep your chariots on the move, of course, and don't be afraid to let some of your weaker units take the blunt of the hit sometimes, because as you saw here, most of this battle was me actually microing around units that were coming back into the fight and just simply not giving up at all. If a unit routs, it's not out of the battle, especially if they have a lot of men in them. They're going to come back, and you're going to have to pay attention to that to be able to kill your enemies units that are trying to chase you down. Like, look over here, I've got like 5 or 6 units that were doing a lot of work and damage to my opponent. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this episode of Road to Rome 2. Remember to leave a comment down below letting me know what you think I should play next. We've done a good number of factions now, 7 already, and I think this is the 8th episode. If you're not sure which ones we did, just check out the playlist. Make sure that you don't recommend one that we've already done. I want to know what you guys think about more history, less history in the videos. Do let me know, because I can go on for a while. I can ramble, and some people may be annoyed by that, but we'll see. Thanks for watching, guys. This was GD, and I'll see you all next time. I think he wants to get out of the forest so that his cataphracts can get better charge, but I could be overthinking. In the rear here, my cavalry are doing a great job, surprisingly. They've killed a bunch of archers, and I really don't care at this stage if I lose them, because they have weakened the archers well enough and kept them away long enough for my infantry to start surrounding my opponent. So he's bringing his cav here around. I'm going to catch this one unit. I think he's going for my slingers. He knows they're a huge problem for him. He gets caught, and there goes his cataphract.